everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Neve and today I'm going to be rambling about all of the books that I read this month. Here I have 6 books, though technically I only read 5.5, so let's start discussing. Alrighty, my first book had me gooped and gagged, as Mike's Mike would say. If I Never Met You by Vari McFarlane focuses around our main girl boss, that's a man, our main girl boss, Laurie, as her mans of 18 years decides they should split up. Now Laurie thinks he's not being serious and it's only because she wants to try for a baby and he does not. However, Mr. Dan is very serious as 2 days later he's found an apartment and he plans to move out. Dan is also recently into running and he's a runner. The two of them are lawyers, they work in the same firm, which is going to make that pretty awkward. So that is all set up for us, and then we jump forward 2 months and 2 weeks later when Dan texts Laurie asking to come round. So he comes over and boom, he reveals to Laurie he's actually seeing somebody, Miss Megan. Then Laurie wants to know, why are you telling me this? And Dan the man reveals Megan is pregnant. How pregnant is she? 2 months. How long have they been split up? 2 months, 2 weeks. She pulls a sickie in work the next day and uses this time to cyber stalk Megan. She's scrolling through her Facebook, she finds happy birthday posts, fundraiser links, and a photo of her at a marathon. And what did I say Dan was? Dan is a runner. She's at a marathon. Girl boss Laurie puts 2 and 2 together and she runs to Spotify. What does she find? A running playlist titled I Wanna Run To You, created 6 months ago. Man, back in the office, Laurie is in the lift going home, and who comes in? Resident hunky lawyer co-worker Jamie Carter. The best thing that could ever happen in a book. The lift breaks down. The maintenance guy says it's going to take about 2 hours, so Laurie and Jamie decide they'll do a bit of small chit-chat, get to know each other. She reveals that Dan dumped her. He reveals he's trying to be partner in the firm. Once the lift is unstuck, Jamie invites Laurie for a drink since their Friday nights are effectively ruined, and there they get to know each other more, and Jamie comes up with a great plan that they should fake date. Jamie, my guy, you're literally a genius. Why are they going to fake date? Laurie can get back at Dan, and this will prove to the big bosses that Jamie is settled enough to be partner. And Laurie's kind of like, you know what, yeah, work, let's do that. So then Jamie sends her an email discussing the plan. They begin their fake romance. They post a picture online. The crowd goes wild, 85 likes to be exact. Dan gets busy making an Instagram account so he can stalk Jamie's stories, but for some reason he uses his real name. Then in a horrible twist of events, we find out Jamie's father has gallbladder cancer. He's going to die, and it's his 65th birthday party that weekend back home in some random town that Jamie is from. And also, unfortunately, Jamie's childhood bestie has revealed to Jamie's parents that he has a new girlfriend, and the dad says they are quite literally dying to meet her, so she's kind of forced to go, but she doesn't mind. Then the birthday party rolls around and Jamie's dad says he doesn't want to tell people because he wants it to be a happy, nice birthday instead of sad. However, later that night, Jamie breaks down to Laurie how he's not ready to live in a world without his dad. Was honestly pretty sad. I might have been reading this at night time, and yeah, I may have been crying about that because it just resonates, you know. Laurie is comforting him and they fall asleep in each other's arms. And what we are leading up to is the Christmas party. That's the main event where the big bosses will see Jamie being serious. Jamie and Laurie dance together, and when the dance is over, they're feeling something. So Laurie excuses herself to the bathroom and she somehow ends up kissing a random Scotsman. Jamie finds them, he is fuming and sends her home in a taxi, but then shows up a bit later, soaked in rain, ready to declare his love. Living, absolutely living. They then spend the weekend together. Then Jamie leaves because he has a cat. He has to go take care of his cat. Shortly after he leaves, Dan texts Laurie and is like, hey, I want to get some photos copied. Can I come over? She's like, sure. She's over this man at this point. She does not care. So Dan comes over. He actually breaks down. He starts crying, which it's just embarrassing. Laurie also thinks it's embarrassing, and he admits, yeah, I know, I made a huge mistake. And he also reveals, yeah, it wasn't a fair. Dan, please exit left. However, we have a bump in the road because the original email that Jamie sent discussing the fake dating details has been leaked. That's right, him and Laurie have a bit of an argument because he has claimed to the big man, no, the relationship is never real, it's over. She has said it's still going. They have a little argument, they go their separate ways, and it's kind of over as quickly as it started. Bestie from back home, Jamie's bestie, calls Laurie and shares with her an email that Jamie, sent the bestie after he spent that weekend with Laurie, where he's like gushing about her. It's honestly a very soft email. I loved it. He was written by a woman for real. Laurie is like, damn, he really said and feels that way about me. And Laurie knows what she has to do. So what does she do? Read the book to find out, because we're coming to the end and I'm not releasing spoilers. I love this book though, the ending. Mwah. Actually, there was something I didn't really like that I'm just gonna pretend didn't happen. This may have been my favorite book of the month. Contrast that to my next book, which was actually my least favorite book of the month, and it was Jackpot by Nick Stone. As you can see, my bookmark is still in here because I never finished this book. Basically, it follows our main character, Riko. She works in a convenience store and she sells 2 lottery tickets to this old woman. One of them, the numbers on it are her birth date. So the woman puts them both down and says, choose a ticket. Unfortunately, she doesn't get her birth date one, but when the lotto jackpot is announced, the birthday is the winning ticket. However, no one's coming to claim the prize. So the story basically follows Riko as she tries to track down that old woman. She recruits the help of her handsome, rich, popular classmate Zan, as he happened to be in the store when the old lady bought the ticket. I was just not vibing with this book. I also was not vibing with the way they constantly had to reiterate that she's poor. When she puts her brother to bed, it was like, oh, I wrapped his comforter that I found in a thrift store. Oh, I put on my secondhand, maybe third or fourth hand jeans. And I put on my used and abused secondhand shoes. And every second chapter or so, there's like a page or two from the point of view of a random object. So for example, one of them is from the point of view of money she has stashed in her wardrobe, which was kind of random. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. What happened at the end, I have no idea because I'll probably never finish it. So let's just move on. Next, we have Off the Record by Cameron Garrett. This was a good redemption book after Jackpot. It was giving Wattpad at some points, but I enjoyed it. We follow our main character Josie, who's very passionate about journalism, and she wins a competition to write a profile on this upcoming actor that's in this brand new award-winning movie. So my girl Josie gets flued out with her sister Alice as her chaperone to first LA, where they meet her editor. She meets the young actor who I thought his name was Marcus, but it's actually Marius. He's French, so hashtag ooh la la. And he is young, he is gorgeous. We also meet Penny. She is a co-star in the movie. I'm gonna call him Marcus because that's what I like to say. Josie has her first one-on-one interview with Marcus and she realizes she has a crush forming, but she is a fellow professional girl boss, so she's gonna squash that. Next up, we go to Austin, Texas. Not much happens there, and then we go to Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. And it is here that Josie notices Penny always has a very negative reaction when Roy Lennox is brought up. And who is Roy, you ask? He is a hotshot famous director, and he currently has a documentary series that is about to come out celebrating his 20th year of being a director, and he has hired Marcus to be the star in his next big movie. And it is in Chicago when Josie asks Penny why she does not like this Roy Lennox guy, and she reveals that when they worked together he would often call her behind the camera and use it as an excuse to stand really close behind her and touch her and get very gropey with her. She just says to Josie, like, please don't interview him for your profile, like, don't be alone with him. And Penny kind of dismisses this as, you know, it's no big deal, just that's what happened, I've heard bad things. But then when Josie confesses to Penny that a similar incident happened to her in school in the bathroom with a male classmate, Penny actually decides they should expose this man, which, go girl, you should. Josie and Marcus are also getting closer together. I think they do some kissing and whatnot. Hello Wattpad. But it does bother Josie why Marcus would do a movie with this guy if he's aware of the rumors. Tries to bring the subject up. He gets sensitive about it, I guess. This leads him to blurt out that he was also affected by these rumors. He was involved, which obviously Josie feels terrible and leaves her in a limbo of she doesn't know how to finish her profile. She doesn't know how to be around Marcus because he asks her to leave after this is revealed, and she also doesn't know what to do about the story about Roy Lennox. We then also have a run-in with Roy Lennox himself when he comes to the magazine where they're planning to publish the article exposing him, and we get to see Penny's physical reaction to being cornered by this powerful, corrupt man. And that altercation confirms to Josie what she needs to do about the story, or if she should fix things with Marcus. We kind of come to the end of the book then, and she makes her decision. Cue some Wattpad realness and also scandal. Now we have The Hopes and Triumphs of the Amir Sisters by Nadia Hussain, who I did not realize at the time, but this is the same Nadia from the Great British Bake Off. There she is. I didn't even realize she was an author. Slay Queenie. This book is focused on May, who is the youngest of 3 sisters and 1 brother, and is focusing on her while she has just completed her first year of college and she's trying to, you know, figure life out. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure how I felt about this book. I have mixed feelings, as it starts with a little teasing about a wholesome relationship between May and her bestie she met in college. They become besties, attached at the hip. They spend like the whole year together, and in summer they decide they should live together because May has to move out of her dorm. However, when they go to May's dorm to get her stuff, May gets pretty close to Jisoo and they actually end up kissing. May is the one who instigates it, and then she's like, lol. that was weird. Let's go back to being friends. Which actually really hurts Bessie Jisoo because she has genuine real feelings for May. She says, I don't think we should live together. Please don't contact me. They fall out and obviously May has to go home because she has nowhere to live. Once back home, May gets a job at an amusement park and her job is basically to parade around in a horse costume. One day she comes to work late and the head of the horse is already in the horse costume. She gets in the back and then they bond over the fact that he is a fellow Muslim. Bear in mind the two of these people cannot see each other until lunchtime when they're going to get out of the costume, and the way this incident was described was weird to me and I was confused. Let me read for you. Brushed down her clothes just in time for her to see a rather large forearm slip from underneath the horse's head only to go back in again. What? And I was confused. I was like, wait, rather large forearm? That's why she's shocked, even though it's alluded to many times throughout the book that May has started to gain weight and all her sisters are like, why are you getting fat? But then it says, her heart beat faster as he took off the horse's head as if in slow motion, only for May to see a man with a bright smile which she'd have appreciated if she hadn't been surprised by the colour of his very dark skin. So basically he's black and she's racist. So he's actually from Ghana and he converted to Islam after he was released from prison. He got out 8 years ago after being in for 5 years on and off because he fell in with the wrong crowd, was doing some petty theft, drugs, that kind of thing. Now this does cue racism, however May thinks because she is brown, her and her family cannot be racist, but then she is kind of like, ooh, maybe I can be because I am being. His name is Abdul, by the way. He is a very strict Muslim. He does the praying during the day, whereas May isn't into that. And he also doesn't want to kiss May because he hasn't even met her parents. So he's strict. She's not. But also, the main reason they're not compatible, I'll tell you right now. May is 19. This man, I thought he was 27, but when I skimmed through the book, all I could find is when he says almost a decade older. So she's 19 and this man is like 27, 28. That's my problem. They don't focus on that no one else seems to think that's a problem. But it's my problem. It's only been a couple of weeks and he's already told his dad about her and wants her to meet his dad. And then when they're on the phone, he bombards her with his dad being like, oh, guess who wants to talk to you? And May is uncomfortable with this. She doesn't like it and she does say to him, why would I meet your dad? We're like, you haven't even kissed me? Then things come to a head when May is babysitting one of her sister's children, so her niece. She's having a palava, the baby's throwing up everywhere. She called Abdul to come help. He comes over and then somehow her entire family shows up due to a tip-off from her sister's stepson. Cue the racism. Of course, straight away they think he is robbing the house. They're like, call the police. And then at the end of the book we have some redemption, which to be honest I'm not sure May deserves. And then Abdul actually kind of proposes to her. Sir, can you please leave that child alone? Why do you even want to marry into her racist family? But do you? So yeah, that was this book. It is actually a series, which I didn't realize, and I think this is the third book. I don't think you need to read them in order because I knew what was happening. I don't know how I felt about this book. Okay, book 5, What Mama Left Me by Renee Watson. This book was just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. Serenity could not catch a break. This is our main girl, Serenity. She and her brother, Danny, they go live with her grandparents after her mother is murdered by their abusive father. First tragic event? Check. And then later their dad also shoots and kills himself when he's about to be detained by police for the murder of their mother. And after the murder of their mother, their father actually just disappears. He doesn't bother to check in on the kids or ever see them again. So once Serenity moves in with her grandparents, she goes to a new school, as does her brother, and they go to Sunday school where Serenity meets a friend called Maria. And I don't know why, but I thought Maria was going to be a villain. I didn't trust her, but it turns out she was just a genuine bestie for Serenity, and she also went through her own trauma with her father. I liked how that was not resolved, but I liked how that played out. When they changed schools and all that, Danny, her younger brother, does also start to fall in with the wrong crowd, and this leads to Danny the brother's bestie Ricky, who is also dating main girl Serenity's bestie. They're dating. Serenity's bestie is dating Ricky, who is Serenity's brother's bestie. They are walking on the street together, the brother and the bestie. Ricky actually ends up being shot and killed because they were on an errand, and by errand I mean something they shouldn't have been doing with the wrong crowd, and a group of boys that they had had a fight with previously spot them. One of them has a gun and ends up shooting Ricky. Obviously this is traumatizing for all of the children involved. Yes, they are children. Serenity is only 13 and her brother is a bit younger. There's just so much tragedy. However, the killing does kind of act as like a wake-up call for Danny, and he does slowly, you know, get back on the straight and narrow. And the whole like point of this book is supposed to be a powerful novel about finding light in dark places, which, to be honest, there's so much tragedy. I'm like, did they really find the light? However, I did think this was a very good book. It was very well written. I really enjoyed it. Of course, it is very sad and tragic, so I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and it has a beautiful illustration and it's not too thick, so serve book. This was actually a nostalgic treat as I literally ordered this book online back in 2015. I remembered some of it, though I'm actually not sure I finished it because I don't remember what happened. And I just happened to be in the library when I saw the book sticking out and I was like, oh my gosh, that's that book. So I decided to get it. It's Vendetta by Catherine Doyle. It is a 3-part series, Blood for Blood saga. Catherine Doyle is an Irish author. However, it has no relevance as this book is not set in Ireland, nor are there any Irish people in it. We have North Americans, Sicilians, and a British bestie. Why was she not Irish? I don't know. Disclaimer, I have not actually finished this book. My bookmark is still here because I did not want to finish this until I could straight away dive into the second book. So I reserved the second book in the library. Normally this takes a couple of days to a week for them to send it from one library to another. However, this took many weeks. But finally I got the notification yesterday that it was in, so I ran to the library. Now I can finish this, dive into this. This book, we have Sophie, government name Persephone. She lives in the suburbs of Chicago. We have her British bestie Millie, and then a group of 5 handsome brothers move in from Sicily. Well, I don't actually know if they came directly from Sicily, but that's where their heritage is. We have Nick, Luca, Gino, Dom, and Valentino. Sophie takes an interest in Nick. He also takes an interest in her. Now, unfortunately, these brothers are involved in the mafia. Which, why couldn't we just have made them vigilantes? Why did they have to be the mafia? Why Catherine Doyle? The mafia, really? Anyway, they've moved to town to avenge the death of their father, and Sophie's father is actually in prison for murdering a man. Coincidence? No, it is not. Now, Luca is hellbent on keeping Nick and Sophie apart. He does not like Sophie from the get-go. And it's not working until Luca reveals to Nick what Sophie's surname is, and then Nick is like a cat when they do that jumpy thing and he can't be with her anymore. However, Sophie does not realize that this is because her father murdered their father, but they know that. So Sophie goes to a party with her bestie Millie to forget about her worries and troubles. Now at this party, Millie's brother's bestie from college appears from a bathroom that Sophie's waiting to use and offers her a drink. Rule number 1, never accept suspicious liquids from people, especially when they just came from the bathroom. So Sophie's like, sure, give me that drink. Lo and behold, he has drugged her. He offers to escort her home. Obviously everybody else is drunk, so they're like, oh my god, you're such a good guy, yes, take her home, slay. But really he wants to try to take advantage of her. However, there's an altercation and Sophie ends up in the hospital after a handsome Sicilian man leaves her there. Thank you, Nick, for saving her. What's this? Breaking news, it's actually Luca that saves her. Luca, older, cold brother who does not like this girl, Luca saves her. You know, color me surprised. To avenge their father's death, they're actually planning to murder Sophie's uncle, who turns out to be the leader of a huge drug cartel in, I think, the entire Chicago. They let the uncle know they're coming by leaving a jar of honey at the diner he owns and where Sophie works. How he finds this honey is Sophie finds it in work. Back at the start of the novel, I'm jumping around. She takes it home because, you know, this girl loves consuming suspicious things. She does eat some, then the uncle finds it and smashes it in the garden, so obviously he knows the threat is coming. The uncle dips after finding this honey. Well, not them, not all of the brothers, but they actually decide to use Sophie as bait to get the uncle to come out of hiding so they can murder him, but they are kind of maybe gonna murder Sophie as well. And I have read up to the point where Sophie is captured and they are making a video to send to her uncle to be like, we'll free her if you come here. Once this video is over, I'm gonna finish it and it's gonna be amazing. My predictions, I think Luca is gonna end up saving her again. Yeah, because I thought when I remembered back that she liked Nick, but then she started to like Luca as well and she was conflicted about this. But that hasn't happened. Maybe it's gonna happen in the end. I feel like Luca will save her. Then she'll be like, oh, Luca, hello. But then I'm not sure what will happen with Nick. There's also a lot of other drama in the book. Overall, I just love this book and I'm dying to finish it. However, unfortunately, the 3rd book of this series isn't in my library's catalogue, so what am I gonna do then? But that's an issue for later. And that, my friends, is all of the books that I read in May. My favorite books, I think it was a tie between these two, If I Never Met You and Vendetta. Obviously, they're very different. This is written for adults and fake dating, cute, soft, mushy, we love it. This is written for teens, young adults, and bad boy romance. My least favorite, definitely Jackpot. And then I'd put the other books in the middle, with this one being on top, this one in the middle, and this one towards the bottom. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching this video and being part of my channel. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you would like to, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!